Yeah, welcome back, pilots. Okay, so we are here back in GBO2, kind of just casually playing, figured to do some space battles for us, the daily mission. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for the lobby and just basically gonna shoot the shit, um, I received in my email a pre-release quick start freebie PDF of the Ghost in the Shell Arise RPG, and it is based on Blades in the Dark, so it's powered by the Apocalypse. There are playbooks, but it uses Ghost and Shell the same way that Lasers and Feelings does, more or less. More or less. I think a very simple version of this game would be like Lasers and Feelings. You pick a number between 1 and 10, and when you roll with as with your shell, you roll under the number. When you roll with your ghost, you roll over the number. And if you roll your number exactly, you get a special condition or effect. But anyway, it seems like a pretty straightforward game system. I'm reading through the PDF. I'm only on page 17, and it's got like 49 pages. Excuse me, 19 in the PDF, page 17 in the book itself. I was thinking about printing it out because I like physical media way more than I like digital media, but um, the expense to print this in full color, because it does feature actual cells from the Ghost in the Shell animes. Um, it's really great. Nice layout. The only thing that I don't like about the layout is the double column text. If you're going to do a release for PDF, or even just rulebook in general, if you're doing a release for, I mean, single column text is fine. I don't care if it scrolls across the page or not, because it's not even like they're doing it for artistic reasons when it comes to the layout, because many of the images actually force the double column text. And if you want to make it an art heavy book, I don't want to leave the room, but I didn't touch that. I'm not even touching my controller when that happened. That was fucking weird. But then again, I've always been saying that this game is hacked. um, I am not in charge of what's happening in this game. So yeah, navigating a PDF of double text, especially when your eyesight requires glasses, um, is a bit of a challenge. Um, and a lot of times it's a lot of the reason why I don't go PDF. Um, I have a Chromebook and not a tablet, so walking around with a Chromebook is a little bit it's like walking around with an old 1990s 2000s laptop. It's going to be fucking heavy for you. It's not an Apple, and of course reading things on my phone, even though it is a larger screen, it's still a struggle, um, or a challenge, I should say. It's not a struggle yet. When it becomes a struggle, I stop. Anyway, so yeah, so basically you have they call them wires. Uh, and what you do is you have the ghost wire and the shell wire. And it says right here, like action resolution roll. The player describes what their PC intends to do, plugging in one or more actions along the same action wire. So interface, sway, close quarters combat, track, and observe. These are all the skills that you can have. Um, and then if you're doing something mental, it's your ghost. If you're doing something physical, it's your shell. You can push the rolls after you make the roll and you're not satisfied with the result. You can spend one shell to get one extra dice up to whatever points of shell you have. But you can only spend one die in mental, which I kind of don't like. I mean, I've watched enough anime where the characters, go into such an emotionally intense moment that literally you're expecting them to explode on the screen. And then in later animes, as a sort of a fourth wall break, they actually show the back of their heads exploding. There's an explosion behind their heads. They don't show their actual brains coming out or whatever. Although I did see a cartoon once that a person was so emotionally overwhelmed that their head literally just exploded off their shoulders. Of course, next frame over, that was just hyperbole. Anyway, so yeah, so before rolling the dice, the GM can always ask a player to enact one of their ghost memories. So again, this is a blaze in the dark kind of mechanic here, where you can, if the player agrees, they mark one box of their ghost memories clock and add one die to their pool. So in the anime for Ghost in the Shell, there's Motoko Kusanagi, the major. Um, is always, getting these memories from her previous life as an organic. Um, and basically, she's a brain and a bot and a robot, essentially. Um, so these ghost memories are kind of cool. But let's see, the player rolls their dice. Multiple sixes will be critical successes. A single six is a success according to plan. A four to five, a four or five are mixed results. You get what you want, but there's a cost or a consequence. It may not be directly impactful on the scene itself. Like for instance, you may have defeated the security system and you're in the vault and everything's going smoothly and according to plan, but what you don't realize is that the complication is that shortly after you leave the vault, you're going to leave behind some kind of clue that gives you away. So, like I said, it's not even a consequence or a situation that's going to happen immediately in the scene itself. It could be something that pops up in the in the adventure, um, several episodes later. Even story timer changed. I was afraid of that. Anyway, um, the GM describes the outcome. Blah blah blah. Uh, say at all costs. This is what I was talking about, where you can spend points of ghost or shell to get extra dice. Uh, before rolling the dice, the GM can always ask a player to enact one of their ghost memories. We'll have to go to page 23 to see that. I like the I like the way that it sidebars around and everything like that. That's kind of nice. So if you want to skip ahead, again, this file is definitely meant for print, but even in print, I would prefer a single page of text. Like I said, I don't like double column rules, books and stuff like that, especially if they're heavy art like this one is. Um, the damage. Every successful action roll has the potential to cause damage. Cause of damage is essential in some scenes. Blah, blah, blah. The shell attribute becomes the target number to beat when dealing physical damage. The ghost attribute becomes the target when dealing mental or social situational damage, or if you're trying to hack their firewalls. After Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this role playing game system is actually going to be more cyberpunk than even Cyberpunk Red is. Um, it seems pretty sterile in its presentation, which is fine. You have broken, defeated, and then you have initiative. Let's see what else is in here. I'm just kind of cruising the combat situation. Nearly every single tabletop role playing game is combat based, just like every single video combat game, video RPG is
Sortie application
combat based.
accepted.
I've yet to
Prepare
come
to
across
sortie.
a RPG video game that that doesn't have at least two-thirds of its plot centered around, blowing something up or getting into shit. We have a 500 point game, right? Yeah. I want to give one more swing. I tried to play the Gaplant, and I don't know. I played it 5 times already, and it just doesn't seem to like really. Depending on what kind of what map are we getting here?
Heading
This is
back
a
to
random
base
map.
camp.
It's a space map. I'm supposed to be in space, dumbass. 550. There we
All
go.
right, be
I
careful
think in
out there.
space the Gaplant
Prepare
would
to
probably be
sortie.
better. Um, I don't think that I can actually do that though. I think she is squarely in the. Yeah, they get the advanced Hazel. I got the bull. I have more fun with the bull. It seems like. Um, support versus general. Let's start off with support. Let's see what happens. If my team swings more towards support, then
Your team's ready.
oh,
Final prep time.
really, it's like you can tell. Oh no, he's gonna play a support suit spice. I don't want to play. I'm gonna pout out. Bah. I don't know, juvenile shit. Combat. That's if it's a fair fight. But who wants that? You call yourselves experts, right? Yeah, you never go into a fight if you think you get a 50-50 chance of winning. You want to have at least a 40-60 with you on the 60 side of shit.
Your team's
So,
ready.
yeah, I don't
Final
know.
prep
It seems
time.
like a pretty decent read. I mean, it's only 50 pages. I've been picking through it over the last 12 hours or so. Um, yeah, not bad. I'm more excited to read the Cyberpunk Red single player mode because I am a big solo player. The thing about Blades in the Dark is that because everything is player facing, you can solo this pretty easily. The only thing you need to do is figure out some way to, I'll see, here we go. Weapons, attack values, sniper rifles, grenade launchers. Yeah, see, the one thing I've always had a problem with because I do come from a semi-simulationist gaming perspective is, and I don't understand why this thing is zooming in automatically. There must be some kind of thumb control that I need to readjust on my phone. Something I did. Boy, we're all fucking. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a general suit. If everybody else is gonna go with, that's just too many. That's too many support suits in there. That's weakness. We could get ourselves rated out like crazy. Not that it makes much of a difference with me. I seem to get one shot by anybody, regardless of what suit I have or they have. Which I don't care because this is just a game and I'm just wasting time basically. And we still fail out. You know what? Fuck this shit. I'm gonna go play Minecraft.
Heading back to
Catch you
base
guys
camp.
there.